Kia ora guys, this is Gregory Young for Gregory Young Photography, and just received the latest copy of Luminar AI, which at this point in time it hasn't officially been launched, but I've had the opportunity to have a bit of a play with it, and I am super excited about what it offers and how it works. And I just wanted to do a little demonstration for you if you've already put your order in for it, or perhaps thinking about doing photography editing in the future. Definitely AI is a great start. They have had Luminar 4, but this is a totally new program, and it has a few more AI enhancements coming to it very shortly. Not all in, but they will be future developments, which I'm assured that they will be free updates for people that are purchasing now. So just to show you a little bit, at the moment this view here is of the catalogue, and you will see here two images. The one with the blue around it is a raw image, and the one on the right hand side is the developed image that I made from the raw. With the raw images, what I found is here they have templates, so you can take a raw image into the templates and it will come up with here some suggestions on sorry, I'll just take that back to templates. Here at the top you'll see some suggestions for this photo, and you can go through them. You can click through them, and for the template I'll just show you here, you might like to go with, say, low key, light. There's all these different basically what they call templates to get you started. Now, because this is a raw image, I found that the templates at this stage aren't that effective, mainly for my style of photography, or how I photograph. I always, if I go back to, we'll just go back to, because this will be now in history, if we go back to the edit, show you the history, and I'll just go back to the original. Okay, if you see here my style of photography, I photograph for the highlights. You'll see the sky here, so it leaves really my subject in darkness. Now I shoot in RAW as opposed to JPEG. The reason for that is of the dynamic range and all the extra information that can be stored in a raw image. What I'll do is show you a little bit more about this. Okay, so here we are with the raw image in edit mode, and I'm going to edit this firstly going into my essentials, and I'm going to leave the composition out at the moment, but I'll just show you quickly. You can choose to have Luminar pick what it considers to be the right composition for the image. There's also these different ratios here that you can choose from. Let's have a look and see. So that's what it's suggesting be the composition, and you can still you still don't have to have AI take over and say that's going to be the final position. You can alter it, you can change it up. So yeah, but that's picked it. It's looking at the rule of thirds, got that there, so you can either accept it or not. I'm going to put that back to how it was, because I was quite happy with my composition. We'll just click out of there. Now what I'm going to do is to go straight to the light section, because as I mentioned before, I photograph for the highlights of the composition, that being the sky, which basically puts into a silhouette. But you can see that it's none of his shirt is burnt out or anything. It's still got the nice light hitting his shirt. So if I were to expose for the boatman here, if I just show you what would happen. Okay, now I'm sort of liking what sort of light he's in, but take a look at the highlights here. They're basically blowing those out. The sky's got no detail to it any longer, so I'm going to put that back. So that is the reason why I shoot for that area. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to shadows and pull the shadows up to bring more light into that. And I'm going to take that way up. I'm going to go right up to, say, 95, 94, 95, and I like what it's done there. You can see here it hasn't really affected the sky, hasn't affected his shirt. I might bring in a little bit of smart contrast into this and bring that up to, let's have a look, we'll go to around about, I don't know, we'll say 16. Okay, because he had a lot of green around him, you know, he's taken on a slightly greenish look as well, but it's a warm look. So I'm going to adjust the temperature here a little bit, because I like what it does to the shirt, and that it sort of neutralizes that shirt a little bit too. So let's go to, say, I think roughly around about there should be okay. And the tint, we'll leave that as is 16, but here I'll just show you what you can change. The tint, you can see the green. Okay, the tint is on 0 there, but if you bring that up to, say, 16, it does change it a little bit. Okay, so that's my light done. Now the next thing I'm going to do is look at Enhance section, and I'm going to go to Ascent, and let's just adjust that to, I'm going to go with, say, roughly around about 20. I'm happy with that. You also have the Sky Enhancer, which I don't think the sky needs any enhancing. I'm happy with where it is. Oops, sorry, let's just click on there. See the Sky Enhancer, it's making it a little bit darker. So I'll leave it where it was. Okay, so the next thing we will do, we'll go and have a look at structure. The amount of structure I need, we will go with, let's just click that on, we'll go, you can see what it does there. I don't want that much, so I'm going to go roughly around about 12 in there. Now one thing to note, and I'll click in here and you'll see, if I play with this, is the structure knows that it's, the intelligent side of it knows that there's a face here. So it does not add structure to the face. You see here as I bring it up, it doesn't really affect the face. We'll take it out, but it affects everything else other than the face, which is, just shows the intelligent side of things. It would look bad if it was adding it to the face, so it's recognised that there is a face there, and it has ignored it and just added it to the outer regions and the shirt and that type of thing. So put that on 11, I'm happy with that. The next thing I'm going to go to will be the colour. Now I mentioned there was a little bit of a colour cast there. I'm going to bring that up just to take a little bit of colour cast out of it. We'll bring it up to, say, roughly around about 16. It's not doing a huge amount, but there is, see that, switching it off, switching it back on, off. Still a little bit of greenery that switch on, just neutralises it a little bit more, which I like. Now I'm going to go into the details. Let's have a look at those, and I'm going to adjust the small details and watch how I'll bring that up to, say, 25. Look what it does to his face. That's amazing. Like, you can see all the pores and everything in there. Sorry, that's just going to... Okay, you can see how it's nice. It's a softer look, and that's probably more for a feminine side of things, but for a male I like to see a little bit of structure in the face, so that's why I've gone with that. From there, the details, I'm going to ignore the small and the large details. Denoise, I don't think I need any denoise. Vignette I might come back to later, because I like to go through and get everything done first. So the next part of it, I'm going to go to the, you have all this, you have also the creative side of things, which are a lot of different things which I can go through with you in another stage, but so I'm going to ignore all this to start off with, but I'm going to go to portrait, and I'm going to go to light his face up a bit. Let's just watch what that does. Look how it recognises his face. I'm going to bring that roughly around about there. There you go. I'll turn that off and on for you. Look at that. That is amazing. That's brilliant. Next thing, I'll look at his eyes. Iris, I'll leave that. I'm just going to go down to, if we look at his eyes there, sharpens them up. It's a little bit dark under here. I like a little bit more light into there. So I'm going to go into the eye enhancer and crank that up to, I'll go to say around about 60ish. Now if I click back out of there, it's not overpowering. You can see I'll just click this on and off so you can see the result. Okay, so that's great. I like that. The next thing I will go into is I think we'll go into the high key side of things, and let's have a look at what high key does. This is something that I haven't used in the past, but I liked what it did. With the high key, I'm going to go amount. We'll go say 27. I'll just switch that off and on for you. Look at that, that's great. I love that. And we'll leave that at 50, leave that at 25, and the blacks I might just have a look, see what the blacks do. Okay, so you can take it back, move it up. I like it, say it was on 50, so I'm going to go up to around about 60 I think on that, and we'll switch that part of it off and on. So off, on, lovely. And the next section I'm going to go into is the Pro section. Let's have a look at the Pro. So we've got the optics. I always use auto distortion correction and remove clavic aberration, which clavic aberration is fringing basing around the edges, which you'll find around, especially on landscape type work, but I always use it. So now super contrast is something I've never used before, so let's have a look at this. And what I'm going to do is with the high contrast, crank that up to say 19. Look at that. Okay, balance I'll take to minus 40. The midtones we'll leave alone, and I'm going to go into the shadow contrast and let's crank that up a little bit. Let's have a look at what this looks like. And the shadow balance, I'm going to take that to say around about 20ish. Okay, let's just have a look and see what that's done. Yeah, I like what that's done. Right, so that's that. Now the next one we'll go into the colour harmony. If you look at colour harmony, crank that up all the way. Okay, that does. I'm just going to take that to say around about there, I think. And the warmth, I'm going to cool it down a little bit, say -6, -12. Let's just check that out. Yeah, I think that sort of takes a little bit of colour out of his skin. Trying to remember what he was like. I think I'm actually going to leave that how it was. I think revert that. Reverse that, and the others I think I'll leave. I don't need the clean scent tool, so that's it there. So then at that point there, I'd be quite happy with that. If we look at the before and after, okay, there's your before and there's your after. That is amazing. I love it. I think that's good. I did mention that I would go back, because I like to put a little bit of a vignette on. So I'm going to go back to here to the essential section, put a vignette on. See what we'll go with a minus. Around about there. Size. So I might just go around about there. Now there's the advanced section of it, which is actually open already. So you've got it would normally be like this, but click on the advanced section and go down, and you'll see your post-cropped and pre-cropped. So I'm going to leave that. Let's have a look. One thing to do is when you're doing your vignette, if you want to know roughly where you are, is to take the feathering right down. You'll see there's your edge, and then you can adjust your roundness and everything else to suit before you go back and do this section. The only reason I know what I've done in the past, so that's why I did it that way, but that's one way of knowing. So let's just take the feather out, and I might just go roughly about a bit, we'll say -4, roundness, I'll go to around about 50-ish, 50, something like that. The other thing you can do is add an inner light, but I don't think it's okay. I could do, I think I might maybe just give it 10, quite like that. That's really pulled them forward. So I'd be happy with that. So let's just turn that off and on. That's with it off, that's with it on, just gives it more depth. So at that stage I'd be very happy. I then go export and save it out. But I've already done that with the image, so I'm just going to go back. Sorry, we'll go back to the image. There's the original image here. Well, this is what I ended up with. I have done a few different changes, but what I found and why I saved this one, this is saved, as you'll see here, the information down here. So you can see here, if I click on there, there's all information. So it's the raw file, tells you it's raw there. What ISO I used, so I used a 320 on a 28mm lens with no exposure variation, and it's a lens was a 2.8, and I've used it as a 3.2. And the reason I did that is because I was fairly close to the gentleman, and I was a bit afraid that if I went all the way down to 2.8, there'd be a lot less of his facial features that would end up being out of focus. So I kept it around about 3.2, and that was shot on my Sony camera. So if we go to this one here, we can see this is the one I saved, or I exported out. Exported out as a JPEG, and that's what I'm going to show you now with the templates. I've found that it works far better if you're using a JPEG image. So you might have gone through with your raw file, edit it to the stage like I did where you were happy with it, but now you might like to look for, say, a look of some sort that you're after, that you want to call your own, and the templates working well with that. So if you wanted to take this to, say, black and white, go back to the templates. So here's some of the suggestions. You can go to this one, Essentials, click on it, change it. Okay, these are just some of the essential type things. I don't like any of them, so I'm going to go back and let's have a look at the. So there's all these different templates, aerial and everything else. You don't have to go with just one particular like portrait. You can go with anything, but I'm going to go with portrait. I'm going to go with monochrome, and let's just have a look at that. So these are darker feel. Film grain, adds a bit of film grain in there. Okay, and this is low key. Okay, so you could go through those. You could pick one. Go, okay, I'm happy with that. Once you picked it, you don't have to accept it. You can actually lower the intensity of it here. So lowering it down. This is still using that template, but here I'm introducing the original image here. So it's slightly black. It's taken some of the colour out, which is quite a nice look. So you could go like that. You could go all the way to the original, so I don't want any of it. So So just adjusting. So let's just say I went to here. Now you can go into here, the edit, and you'll see there's little dots on these. And these little dots represent what was used in that template to get to that stage. So I'm just going to crank this up to where it was original. And also the same with these. Here's a dot, the Pro was used, the portrait was used, no creative section was used, and the light was used. We've already gone through those. So even though you've got that, you can still come in here and you can still adjust. So maybe I want to, it's got a -20, you might want to go down further, maybe do that, whatever the case may be. You might want to, now I know I'm going overboard with these, but I'm just showing that nothing is concrete. It can be adjusted, and then after you've got it to, say, a style that you like, you can then go in here and save it. So if I save this, I then go into my template, back to my templates. I go into the star, which is my collection. Here it is here. This is the last. If I go into users templates, these are the ones I used before. I can go dunk, click on that. There we go. It's changed a little bit only because I put the vignette on this one. So this is the one that I'd change. Here's the other one that we just saved there. You can go into here and rename it to whatever you like, and that becomes your template to come off. And in the future, when you have an image that you want to do, you can go straight there, click on it. It may not be exactly what you want, but that's your starting point as well. So I'm going to take this back to where it was. So we'll go edit. Then you can go into history, bring up the history. I'll just go original, and there's the original back into that section. And now that I've done that, I'm actually looking at this going, this actually looks quite a lot better. So I might export that out and make that my final image. So there it is, guys. That's the new Luminar AI. And in the show notes, I'll put a link there if you want to get it. It's still, as I say, it's in. It hasn't officially launched, so there might be a little bit of waiting for you to get your copy. But I understand that it will be roughly around about the, what are we up to? We're up to the 10th now, so it's roughly meant to be around about the 15th to that sort of time, or maybe a little bit longer. But I'm pretty sure it'll be out for you guys before Christmas. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I intend to do more of these in the future. So if you're interested, click the subscribe button. I'll show you a few more edits, and we'll look into this a little bit further, get into more of the creative side of things. I see this program as being a great start for somebody getting into photography. They're maybe looking for a software program that's easy to use, it's fast, very simple, and look forward to having you join me again in the future. So this is Greg for Gregory Young Photography. Catch you later.